what we do is that we compromise our life to get along, to be seen, to be enough. And why do we want to be seen and get along? And because if we have the false belief that we are not enough, then we need some kind of a proof from outside, from anywhere, that we are enough. And we take that will happen in, or it will be strived for in the effort to be enough. So if we make enough effort, if we achieve a certain standard of success or of wisdom or of insight or of levels of non-duality, then we might get, or we hope for, the recognition that will prove that we are seen. Once we're seen, it's like, oh, I do matter, I am enough to be seen, to get some kind of feedback, to be part of this human network of mutual support and all this, because we all support each other in survival, and we're all meant to be one anyway, and all this blah blah. So the tendency is towards a goal that isn't even necessary in the first place, because the original condition is already enough, more than enough. It's hugely abundant, vastly abundant. So what we do in our life is that we actually, through this effort and through this belief in lack, is that we actually compromise the natural way, which is to enjoy. That life is, we're here, we have a limited lifespan. The body has a limited lifespan, you could say, although that's not exactly precise, but anyway. And we're meant to just enjoy. That's the whole point. But we compromise that. Why? Because it gets more attention to suffer, to work hard, to be disciplined, all these things. If you sense, if you feel into it, you know that there's a kind of a sort of a heroism about it. There is some sort of, there is some energy there of like achievement, and then the reward of recognition, and how tantalizing that is. So that the original condition is already enough, it doesn't interest anybody, because it doesn't get seen, it doesn't get attention. So if I'm enough as I am, who's going to stop and look at me on the street for that? No one. So and also it doesn't get it gets put away as irrelevant, because the decision has been made, the statement has been made, the belief has been accepted that we're not enough. So if someone lives, let's say, with the kind of complete, like with the lack of effort to be more, then that person must be deluded or arrogant or something, because the common understanding is that there isn't enough, and there's so much evidence for that, right? Look around in the world, and who are you to not take part in doing your best, so that we somehow, through all our efforts, we're somehow improving humanity, because humanity at the base is kind of greedy and selfish and everything, and we have to sublimate all those animal tendencies to become more divine and more spiritual and somehow more pure. And then so that same striving and effort is also prevalent in most of discussions about non-duality. It's the same energy that feeds the discussion. It's the striving, it's the goal, it's the underlying assumption and belief in lack, and striving towards a goal that would then finally make me relaxed and free, and with the very, very subtle flattery that now not only will I be happy and will I be content and everything, but look here, like after that, then what? Well, then I might get some recognition, I might get some respect or something like that. So yeah, the compromise thing, it's something that is like pervades all of our interactions with others. There's always there are even sayings like in relationships, it's commonly accepted that compromises are necessary. And it's very easy to see, like, a compromise always has to be between two things, right? So the assumption is that there are two things, but there are not two things. That's the whole point, really. That's the whole, that's what the word non-duality expresses. It doesn't express anything more than that. It doesn't comment about the self. It doesn't comment about anything. It just says there are not two things. It doesn't even say that there's one thing. But as soon as you have opposition, the point is that whatever two things there appear to be, they are complementary. So they are, it's like with the yin and yang, but without the two dots in it. So you just have one part that's black, one part that's white, and it's just the interaction of the dark and the light. They're complementary. So like they don't oppose each other. They don't push each other out the way. They don't battle for dominance. It's just like the dark gives way to the light, or you could say it embraces the light, and then when it gets dark again, the light kind of cedes, it goes away, or I don't know. It's the point being that it's complementary. It's not, and the fact that they're complementary is because they are not ultimately separate. So there's no opposition. There's no opposing tendencies. They just basically allow these complementary aspects basically allow for the world of the senses, the things that we perceive, the things that we enjoy, and you don't have to look very far to see that the world of the senses is demonized, because everything that is animal and that is sensual is kind of lower. So we're supposed to kind of overcome our natural drives, sexual drives, and all this, everything that is earthly and dirty and lower, and to strive towards some kind of sublimation, some kind of perfection, purification of the animal tendencies in us to finally develop our higher self, our more divine self, and all this. That's such a maze of arrogance, and to get lost in that is pretty tragic. It's pretty sad. It doesn't have anything to do with the way things really are. It's just human mental self-glorification. That's all it is. And it's more than a compromise. It's a loss of an opportunity to live a life based, like, fully embracing and enjoying the gift that we have. So there isn't an acceptance there isn't a gratitude for life, and we all it doesn't take much to feel like everyone wants to survive. If you walk into the road and a car almost hits you, and you know that if it had hit you, you wouldn't have survived it, don't you say, oh, wow, I'm so happy I didn't get run over? No one is like, I wish that car had hit me, unless of course I'm so caught up in myself that I actually want to throw myself in front of the car. So it's very obvious, it's very evident that life is a gift, because we all want to live. We all want to enjoy our life. Life is the gift. It's like the principal thing. Yeah, it's not an opposite to death at all. It's what we call the biological death. That's just part of life. So, but instead of really fully acknowledging that it's a gift, we put so many things on life. That also is very easy to see, what we say about life, what others say about life, which we then take on, and oh yeah, now I found evidence for that in my own life. I've had experiences. Now I'm more experienced because I'm older, or I've gone through so much. Poor me. Yeah, life really is hard, and wow. But I've stood strong, and I've overcome so many things, and it's all being up one's own ass. That's all it is. All of that. Then people put up barriers, so you start from the kind of innocent attraction to another person, and then you have relationships and things happen, and then you slowly draw conclusions, more and more conclusions, so it closes you off more and more. Then you have more and more conditions for what you're going to allow in your life, and how much you're going to open your heart the next time because you've been hurt so much and all this. It's really just taking on and perpetuating beliefs that we've heard, drawing conclusions based on ignoring our senses, because all we're dealing with is seeing what we see and what we hear. We are totally divorced from what we're actually sensing. Why? Because we're tending towards trying to overcome them. We think that's the thing to do. And this might be heard and said, well, no, I don't do that, and so, but it's extremely subtle how it influences us, most of the time, or a lot of the time, without our even noticing. But it doesn't take much to stop and see it. So the way we compromise is it's like a pining for a little bit of joy, just a little bit of relief, just a little bit of the stopping of the uncomfortableness. Have a little break from that. That's why we go on vacation, to not have the familiarity around us, which will always remind us of everything we have to do and all the tasks we have to accomplish and everything we have to not forget to do. So we have at least that little bit 1 week relief from these things, so we can enjoy and build up a portfolio nowadays as well, with photos and social media, and getting more attention, hopefully, to what a great life we're living. We all know the falsity of it, how we don't like it when we see pretentiousness of people pretending to live such a great life, right? Well, that striving is kind of what we're doing, really. That's, however subtle or pronounced it is, that's the underlying current, is the willingness to compromise. It's like making a deal. It's like saying, if I do this, this, and this, then I will get in return this, 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 and this. And that's how non-duality, the discourse of non-duality goes. If I only find the right video, then I might be, or if I listen long enough, then I might be triggered like whoever I think that has happened to. Maybe it'll happen to me as well if I'm lucky enough. And it's the deal, like, life doesn't make any deals. Again, it's super easy to see, like, if we just sense what is life actually. We can't describe it, but if we go there, what is the energy of life? Does it have any compromise in it? Does it have any deal making in it? Does it have any requirements of us? Does it say, okay, you're gonna get life, you're gonna feel the energy of life, you're gonna be alive, but you have to do this, and this? And then if our answer is, well, yeah, we do, we have to struggle to survive, we have to work, and this and that. Those are all beliefs. Like, what did we do? What does a baby do to become alive? Has it made a deal? Is the little toddler, the fetus, like, standing in front of God and saying, I will do this, please give me life? No, obviously not. So, and this is the subtlety of and the arrogance that is so prevalent that it's not even seen. It's the standard, the norm, that we don't see the huge abundance that life is, and how loving the gift is. It's that it's given freely with no strings attached. That means that there is no compromise. There is no deal there. If you give a gift to someone you really love, you give them a gift because you feel so joyful. You see something in a shop, you're like, wow, this would be so nice for that person. I'm going to give them that gift just out of the pure joy of giving. And that person is now feels obliged to give you something back, and they feel like, oh, they don't deserve it or whatever. They're now going to make efforts to deserve it, or some kind of feeling that they have to pay you back. Would you want that? Obviously not. It actually mars the joy of the giving. It pollutes it. It like lessens it. So that's what life is like. Like that's what the energy of what is like. It's just love. It's no strings attached. And yet we live our life with so many strings attached. Why? Because we've bought into all the beliefs that lead us ultimately to compromise. And compromising our lives is really the saddest thing of all. Like we go into relationships and then we make compromises because, oh, now we're this old or that old, or we want to have kids and we better hurry up, and now I'm not going to start over again, so I might as well stay in my 15-year relationship that has no freshness in it at all, but I'm going to stay in it because I'm going to be alone, otherwise I'm not going to find anyone. Or my parents have this demand for me in my life, that I should fulfill these and these criteria. There are so many, in so many cultures, there are so many rules about marriage, about how you get married, arranged marriage, or what social class is going to be acceptable, or whatever. Like, how are my peers, how are my family going to view my loved one? Are they going to accept them? And so many compromises in all those aspects. There's no, where's the firmness? Where's the, fuck you, I love this person, that's it. And the fact that we keep compromising weakens our firmness. It's like, then we're like, all we're doing is being tossed around in the waves, and the waves are the opinions of others. So we're basically living a life of slavery, really. We're constantly at the beck and call of what other people might think. How many times do you see someone, you walk down the street, you see someone checking themselves out in the mirror, and the hair is like slightly moved this way? Oh, because now you're going to look good. Now people are going to see you. Or when they do look at you, they're not going to say, look at that stupid person, right? Because before, when the hair was slightly more this way, then of course everybody is looking at you and talking about you and laughing at you, right? How insane is that? So all we're doing when we're checking ourselves out like that is we're doing it for ourselves. We're trying to keep ourselves safe from other people's judgments. No one else gets pleasure out of us moving our hair this way. It's only us. And surely if you do that, you can never say that you don't have the opportunity to be wise to that, to see that, to notice the compromises that you make every day. You can never say that. So you can never say, oh, but I can't get it right, or I can't. I understand everything in the theory, but in life it just doesn't go that way. But we don't look at the vanity that we live out every day. Why? To get the approval of others. So our chasing after approval, we can never say that we don't notice it, we can't see it. Of course we can. The compromise ultimately leads to the loss of the opportunity to live a full life. So we have the opportunity every time to live fully, to live with ease, with comfort, with contentment, with joy, to do what we want, what we love to do, to express our abilities, our talents, our passions, our loves, our desires. But we actually spend 9 to 5 days a week, pursuing a goal that other people have said is necessary, because otherwise there's like this dark abyss that we're going to fall into of being alone, not having enough money, and all these fears that drive us to push for something extra, which was never necessary in the first place. So all the little compromises, they add up to the big compromise, which is that of deciding, okay, I'm not going to enjoy my life, but I'm going to do my best and work my hardest, so that maybe one day I'll be honored, I'll be respected, I'll be supported, I'll be encouraged, I'll be seen, I'll be praised, and all that. So compromising is really, it's a choice in a way, you could say. It's not something that we can ever say that we're fully unaware of, because there is a twinge. There's always going to be some kind of a feeling of like, wow, I really kind of compromised myself there, or I run after someone who clearly has no sensitivity towards me because I think out of duty, or they're my family, or they're my loved one, or whatever. So I'm throwing myself away the whole time. I'm throwing away my energy. How many self-help books have been written about, oh, I'm okay, you're okay, or people who love too much, or all this nonsense. Like, we think that we have a certain condition. This is how I am. This is my personality, and now I have to overcome it. Not seeing that actually the original conclusion that I am like this, I am like that, that's the obsession with self, is the only issue, really, because there was never any need to construct an image of myself. There's just energy, there's just being. Being is a verb. So it's very, it can never be claimed that being is difficult. Just being is difficult. No, because that's already what's happening. So how can it be difficult?